when mainstream media continues to talk about Bitcoin nonstop, it's going to make people pay attention. Retail investors, Wall Street, gurus, they're going to start paying attention. Like, why am I holding anything else at this point? You know, if you look at traditional markets, yeah, some are doing good, some are like just going sideways. But overall, the quickest horse in the race is Bitcoin. There's no doubt about it. And someone like Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, man, they're just soaring. 1,200 today, up another 11, 12%, 52-week high. MicroStrategy, you gotta give them a hard look. They're moving like 2 or 3 times faster than Bitcoin now. That's amazing. And even Coinbase, a 4%, 52-week high. Right? Anything that's related to Bitcoin right now, they're all high. They're all skyrocketing. You know, this is exact opposite of 2022 and 2023. Anything that was Bitcoin related was shorted to hell by Wall Street. You guys know what I'm talking about. Even during good Bitcoin days, you'll see like Coinbase go down or MicroStrategy go down because Wall Street wanted to short the hell out of them. That's no longer the case. They're loading up. They're buying hand over fist on whatever they can that's Bitcoin related right now, or crypto related, I should say. And like I said, if you are living in Europe and you're using the euro and you want to buy Bitcoin, well, unfortunately, it's already at all-time high. Yeah, and you may be wondering why. Why is that? Well, because the euro lost a lot of value over the last few years and has also inflated. And basically, because of it, price of goods, services, assets have all gone up. That's why. It's really that simple, right? That's why if you're holding enormous amount of cash, doesn't matter what cash, right? Euros or yen or pounds, sterling, whatever. If you're holding large amounts of it and you don't invest, that's what happens. Things get expensive. They get pricey. And then you realize you can't buy as much as before, right? So you're silently getting your wealth taxed away. That's what inflation is. And all countries do it. They love inflation. That's the only reason why they can survive. Countries need inflation. Countries need to print because they're all out of money. They're all in debt. U.S. has surpassed $34 trillion in debt. Where's that money coming from, right? How does the U.S. survive with $34 trillion worth of debt? Well, because we have a money printer, and we could turn that on anytime we want, and we could sell debt too. We could sell bonds. But what if people stop buying bonds? Well, then the money printers go. Man, we are just flying right now, guys. We're about to break 66,000. We might even break all-time high during this stream. That would be crazy. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I don't have any lines, guys. I draw lines to tell you guys the next points, right? I did say after 637, again, look, it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. There's no more lines to draw. We're just going to go straight up to 69,000, which is like up here. I mean, there's really no lines up here. We're about to enter unknown territory, guys. We're about to enter unknown territory for Bitcoin. It's gonna be wild. Once we break through, once we get to 70,000, there's no more. You could just throw TA out the window. There's no more levels. There's no more resistances. Nothing. We're just going to go straight to the moon, and that's what I'm going to talk about. And let's not forget, just 11 days ago, the ECB felt so threatened, they had to come up with a blog saying Bitcoin has failed to become a global decentralized digital currency. Okay. Now, 11 days later, Bitcoin is all-time high in euros. So think about the irony and think about why the ECB had to do so. Because they felt so threatened that they had to do this. Did anyone listen? Of course not. That's how big of a joke they have become, and big of a joke have all banks become, really. No one gives a S about what they say anymore because they're so outdated with their thinking. And you know there's some kind of hidden agenda, right? Like, why this out of nowhere? It's probably the ESG agenda or something like that. There's some kind of hidden agenda. Why should they even care if people buy Bitcoin? Yeah, well, anyways, time to move on. Bitcoin, it's ETF. You know, I talked about catalysts, amplifiers, and multiplier effects, right? ETFs are certainly having its effect. It's funny that a lot of people ignore the ETFs, said that ETFs will have no noticeable, effect on Bitcoin. Like what? What? When you have some of the biggest fund managers and asset managers on the planet buying up Bitcoin by hundreds of millions of dollars per day, you don't think that's going to have effect? You think lines and charts are going to affect Bitcoin more than Wall Street buying $600, $700 million of Bitcoin a day? Well, it's obvious they were wrong. I bit BlackRock's ETF. Man, they are buying at such a rapid pace right now. They hit 10 billion in AUM, the fastest in history of any ETF, right? And it's not going to stop. Even though last week, here's the amazing thing. Look at week 8. Even though Grayscale sold $1 billion+ worth of Bitcoin, the net inflow is still positive. So you could see that we have tens of thousands of Bitcoin being bought per week, and they're just being eaten up. They're removed from supply. And as much as we think MicroStrategy holds, well, BlackRock is nearing that number. BlackRock may surpass MicroStrategy in overall total holdings this week. Okay. And then you have Fidelity that's going up there. You got all these going up there. And all this is doing is taking Bitcoin away from circulation and allowing companies and institutions and funds to buy Bitcoin. And also it does allow retail, because here's another thing that I forgot. I've been saying the higher Bitcoin goes, the more retail will be shut out, right? But another way for retail to get involved is to buy shares, right? If they buy IBIT or FBTC or whatever it may be, right? It's much cheaper. They could buy multiple amounts and say, oh, I have 100 shares of IBIT versus I have 0.01 Bitcoin, something like that. So that also, I think, helps with the psychology of retail investors. So ETFs are definitely making a big impact. And I think we're going to see explosive volume this week. Okay, we're going to see those numbers skyrocket today and later this week. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop, guys. It's not going to stop.